good afternoon. How are we all? I say good afternoon. It's afternoon for me. Good morning for most of you guys in the UK. It's been a while. Good to be back. Andy Ward in conversation. And as you can see today, we are throwing forward to a massive event on the 27th of July in Birmingham, the Hockley Social Club Takeover in conjunction with the Vocal Booth Weekender. We are live on YouTube and we are also live on Facebook. So if you are checking this out, feel free to leave any questions, make any comments on the topics that we discuss, or if you're coming back and checking out the recording, then feel free to leave your thoughts. It is going to be my pleasure to welcome onto the stream Mr. Jack Tyson Charles. Good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. You're looking mighty suave on this Saturday morning. I can see that everything is working. First of all, I'll say a shout out to Tracy with us on YouTube. Hi, my love. Good morning. Sure. And what I try to do is make this as interactive as I can. People understand that when we're talking, I can read any comments or questions that they leave. And when there's a gap in the conversation, I'll direct them to you. It's a very relaxed chat. We're here to find out all about yourself, most importantly about your music, and we'll throw forward to what you're going to provide us in Birmingham at the end of the month. Does that all sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so let's discuss Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Where are you at? Where are you at in your head?
Oh my God. Well, it's nice to have like a weekend, I say weekend, like just not gigging, because it's been quite hectic for the last 6 weeks. Been doing a little mini tour of the UK. Nothing too much, but I mean, we've been about, like it's been amazing. It's been brilliant. But so Friday night, I think I got in at about 3. And when I woke up at 9, 11 a.m. interview just didn't sound as much of a good idea as it did when we were talking yesterday.
Well, yesterday we were just just saying hello and whatever, because this is really the first time that we've really properly spoken. And you were like, I've just had a beautiful, relaxing swim. I'm having a nice afternoon with some friends. I said, is it going to get messy? And you were very sort of like firm in your answer. You're like, no, I've just been for a swim, mate. It's going to be a nice afternoon.
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, well, you can tell then, can you? Like, no, we went to Hampstead Ponds. Don't know if you know Hampstead Heath, North London. That's where I grew up, and went to the mixed ponds with some friends I met in February. I met them at one of my shows randomly. We just kind of became mates, and it was a gorgeous day for it. It was raining, sunny, cloudy, raining again, sunny. It was amazing.
Good. Well, I'll be very gentle with you. People who
no, you go. I'm good.
Good, fantastic. That's what I like. The consummate professional. So we've got Mr. Andrew Milford with us, who was very gracious in hooking you and I up. He's the guy behind Hockley Social Club. And so I've got to say good morning to Andrew. Big day for them down there, ready for kickoff at 5 o'clock, of course.
Okay. Nice.
Before we talk about the gig, let's find out about yourself. As always, it's always nice to get a little bit of backstory on artists, find out their influences, inspirations. And then I want to touch on, your aspirations, what you're looking to achieve. So tell me more about Jack Tyson Charles. Where do you want to begin with how you got into music?
I started off as a drummer. Started playing the drums when I was 11. Okay. I mean, that's where my journey with live playing began. But I mean, music kind of starts going through whatever cassettes your parents have, don't they? Earth, Wind and Fire, was kind of one of the first I remember like listening to, putting in. I mean, I remember America, Horse with No Name, the Gypsy Kings,
Wow.
Bambaleo, Bambaleo. I mean,
A very varied, just within those
well,
three different artists all
this
across
was my
this.
mum's. This was my mum's music collection. She's. I mean, it's. But Earth, Wind and Fire. I remember sticking that on. I had this old JVC hi-fi system, and it was, when they used to make them properly back in the day, and I just remember Earth, Wind and Fire being really striking, and because I kind of feel like I visualize sound a lot. So like when I hear music, it takes me to this dream space, and
Okay. So let me ask you, I think it's an important question because I couldn't put an age on you. What year were you born?
I was born in '88. I'm 36.
Okay. So visually, because when you mention Earth, Wind and Fire to me, I roll back to sort of like Earth, Wind and Fire of the 70s, and they were strikingly, visually, they were
Yeah.
incredible. Just as impactful as for you when you first
Well,
saw them.
yeah, even just the cassette, like the cover, because what you're going on when you don't know anything about what you're about to put in is you're going on the art visually immediately. So like all of the CDs I go and buy. This was, back in the day, like I just you just go on what the vibe you get from what's tangible in your hand. You can't. Sometimes you don't even have an opportunity to listen to it before you buy it. Sometimes, so there's a lot of it's to do with like the visual representation and whatever that conjures. And so I think that's how I kind of found music that way. And then when it became to pick an instrument at school, I was already tapping on every single surface, driving my mum nuts. Like just, I was kind of a natural rhythm was where it kind of began for me. And I started playing the drums at 11, playing in like all sorts of rock bands. And I think drumming was my second love after football music.
Okay.
That it was, yeah. And I kind of moved on. I got into smoking weed and all that craziness and stuff. But I mean, before music, I was mad on football. Like I could have been a footballer, I reckon, if I had the application.
Mm-hmm. So before weed and women found their way into your lives.
Yeah, weed and women. Literally.
Same old story. Same old story.
Weed, women, and wine, and then wine.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, that'll lead me to say hello to my friend John, and also to Amy and to Emily. Good afternoon, good morning to you all. Thank you for being here. Okay, so late 80s into the 90s. Did you ever bring bring trouble to the door?
To the door?
Yeah.
Stop. What, to my mum's front door?
Yeah.
Mate, we can't be asking these questions. It's way too early for this, bro. Mate, I'm a terror. Man. Like I was a terror. But I mean, I was a lovely kid. And then up until when I was about 14, oh mate, I think I'd saved it all up. Like saved it all up, and then I just went a bit crazy, man. Like kind of, I'd like to say I'm calming down, but it's been one hell of a journey.
Well, when you say that about the journey, listening to some of your tracks and the writing, which we'll get to talk to in a second, I'm sure that's reflected in a lot of the output, right? So, and before we do get to the actual releasing of music then, so early 90s raving, do you have any memories of getting into early raves? Because you would have just been coming of age when the rave scene was like full blown.
No, man, early 90s, I was 4 years old. I got into
thinking early 2000s, of course.
I went to Fabric. I went to Fabric for the first time when I was 16. And from about 16 until 24, we were in Fabric most weekends. Like
Okay.
we were at the end, Fabric, drum and bass,
I've
all of
got
it.
written down here 89 to 90, and I'm 10 years out. So we're talking like the turn of the century, right?
I didn't start going raving until 2004.
Mm-hmm. So
It's still 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's madness. So a completely random question. What were you doing for the Millennium Eve?
I was at my dad's house in Somerset. He lived in Somerset at the time. And we were partying. I was 11 years old and we were listening to, I think we had Will Smith Millennium on repeat. I was dressed in a suit and dancing. I was like, I stole the party that night. But I got allowed to stay up late. My dad had this gorgeous house in Somerset, and like it was really dreamy place. Mm-hmm. And we saw the night in fireworks. Well, what were you doing?
Oh, I was racing around from gig to gig in Birmingham, and then I jumped down the motorway to go to a gig in London that never materialised. I sacrificed loads of money in Birmingham to do a gig in London, and I got bumped for a big wage. I was gutted. Annoying.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was a mad thing. So you know, saying about stealing the attention. Did you always feel comfortable? Being in the limelight. Not a shrinking wallflower.
Yes and no. Like, I don't. With music and the vibe, yes, but I mean, in other situations in my life, I find things, more difficult than most in terms of.
Okay, well, let me ask one question, and then we're going to come directly straight back to yourself. Yeah. Because when I say about being in the limelight, you just mentioned being at your dad's house. For anybody that isn't aware, do you just want to explain who your dad is?
Oh, well, my dad's Craig Charles. He's a radio presenter, poet, and a DJ and an actor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and. So is that when you talk about it, and then we'll move back to music after, did his fame, for want of a better word, did you find that a struggle at times?
No, my dad was and still is very comfortable with his, I mean, obviously it's affected him massively being famous, but he's always been very gracious and comfortable in his own fame, shall we say, and that made things easier and it made things fun. I mean, I've the other side of the coin, because both my parents are extremely famous. My mum is also an actor. Her name's Cathy Tyson, and she's one of our finest actors in this country. And she was different with fame early on. She talks about having had imposter syndrome. So, she wasn't, so it didn't sit as well with her as with my dad. So I think because of the way, with the natural way that my dad kind of treats people and is with everyone, and that made it a lot, that made things, a lot easier and a lot more, lots. That made things a lot more fluid than, I suppose. Also, as well, it was a different time. I mean, like you could still relatively, he was on the biggest program in the country, but unless you can still relatively keep yourself to yourself back then. Yeah. Nowadays things are mental, like with social media but there wasn't any of that stuff back then. So
yeah,
you're more in an enclosed bubble, shall I say? Really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for just making that clear. I wanted to share that information for anyone. So when I started off by saying mid-90s, what I meant was early to mid-2000s, playing the drums. How did that progress further? And you thought, okay, we need to take this to the next level now.
Well, I mean, we wanted to make it. I mean, I don't know. It's a good question. I got kicked out of a couple of bands just for being a terror, and also because I'm a pianist.
Missing rehearsals or disrupting rehearsals or what?
Disruptive behavior, reckless antics, but also as well, it was kind of frustrating for me being. I think a lot of drummers go through this like not being able to affect the the music as much as you want. But I just graduated into playing the piano, and obviously the piano is a percussion instrument too. So it kind of I moved to it quickly, and that then I was able to write songs, and it kind of progressed from there. But really, like in the first, so I started playing the piano from the age of about 20, and then I did my first. It's kind of late. I came into it quite late, singing as well. If you think a lot of people start earlier, but so once I had started the piano and started singing, I formed a band, and we played like the whole of the Camden circuit in London, and all of and we were doing really. We created a buzz, so like people would come to but when people came to my shows, and every time they were saying like, Jack, that was epic, and it kind of after a while, then the message like hits home to you, like, okay, so this is people are enjoying this, and it becomes special, and it becomes like, okay, I have a responsibility now. It has to be epic all the time. I have to be on it, but yeah, in those early days of performing, singing, it was magical. Like we just created this vibe, and people, I feel like I had more in a weird way. I feel like I had more of a following back then, but this was before this was before social media, really. Because in a way, we create this organic following where people would just like you'd say where you're gigging, and then the whole place would be packed, and you have a great night. And
so can I offer up that possibly because it was smaller, there was a more tangible feeling of it was, you say it being organic, you felt a connection directly with those people. That's what it would have been, possibly.
Yes, but also as well as like after another thing about not having having quite a small following as well is after because I felt like you can't keep asking the same people to come to see your gigs. And after they've made after everyone's invested so much time, and after that, you kind of feel like they've done their bit now. It's like you don't really. It's difficult to. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Like, you sell a venue out, you get 500 people, nearest and dearest, everyone turns up, yeah? And then the next week or the next month, it loses its like, do you know what I mean? Do you want to come and do it? Should we do it all over again? No, it doesn't really work like that. You have these moments, these memories. And so I got to a point where I feel like I took it as far as it could really go, like on my own. We had like a small team, and we burnt out in the end. So that was about 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
So I kind of spent a few years to work. So am I just going? Am I going too fast? Or
this is perfect.
I spent a few years kind of in the wilderness, had some issues, drug and alcohol, tackled them, attempted to tackle them, and tried to have it. When you have a band, we had an 8-piece band, and when I lost it, it kind of felt like it felt like a slog to get it back. It's like it kind of, I felt deflated for a while, and probably there's things that I just look back on thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that's happened, or this has happened. So in the last couple of years, I I've put a band together again, and we're in a really, really good space at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's taken a while. It's taken a while to get from, just not quite knowing what my direction is going to be, where I want to go again,
Well,
and how we get it.
Would you say, and I'll say hi to Jimmy and Andy. Good morning, guys. That's clearly, when you look back at your output, the previous albums via your Bandcamp, which are linked in the description, to the current output, there's a marked change in the sound. Not better or worse. There is a difference in the sound. Would you agree that you can hear that?
Well, yeah, but I produced the first record myself, and the amazing, legendary producer Danny Kane produced the Love Is Pain album. So that's a massive difference.
So that's
already.
That's night and day to you, production wise. But from a content point of view, lyrically, a lot would have happened. A lot would have happened from then to now, and some of the titles, some of the lyrics, some of the songs. You must draw on a lot of your experiences in them. You can hear them, right?
Yeah. The process of making the record was a lot different. They were like the first record. I felt like I had to live, like I lived it to make it, and the second, and songs were formed over longer periods of time. Whereas when I was in with Danny recording Love Is Pain, it was all about what was going on right now in my life, there and then, and what I was experiencing then. And so it's more like a snapshot. But I feel like every song you write, every song I write has to be like, you have to be able to hear what I'm going through. I haven't always written like that. Because I come from a rhythmic background as well, sometimes I use words and lyrics. I use words as a rhythm instead of putting too much onus into like what I'm saying. So, or obviously that there has to be meaning behind what I'm saying, but it's sometimes I'm not like, it's not just about the lyrics to me. It's about like the rhythm of the sound of the voice, if you know what I mean. It's but I mean, what would there be a song that's, can you pick a song from?
Well, I was going back through the back catalogue, and I was listening to a couple of them. I was listening to Mr. Nice, some of the lyrics in there. You're going to put me on the spot now and expect me to draw out some of the other titles. But yeah, there were a couple in there, and just in passing, that were, while I was working, I was listening, I was like, okay, there's definitely, you can hear, this is definitely something that's experienced. It's not just someone talking about the green grass and the blue skies or something. There's definitely, you can hear some struggles in some of the lyrics.
Yeah, people say that I've got they can hear a lot of pain in my voice when I will struggle. I mean, you mentioned Mr. Nice, though. That process of recording that album was just amazing. Like, I can't stress enough, like, how enjoyable it was to work with Danny.
So you mentioned legendary Danny Kane. Danny Kanan, however you want to pronounce it, for anyone that isn't aware.
Danny Kane.
Danny's a very good friend of mine from Birmingham. He's no stranger himself to the music industry. He's played bass with some real famous people. I've seen him on several occasions on Top of the Pops. How did you hook up with Danny?
Right. Mate, this is a long, convoluted story, but if you want it, I'll give it to you. So I was in Secret Garden Party,
okay,
a festival, Secret Garden, and my friend Lexi gave me a wristband to get in to like this boutique camping area, and I met some of her friends. Met one of her friends, Andy. What's his name now? Andy Watson. He's another Brummie,
Okay.
and me and Andy kind of kept in touch, and I'd come up to Andy's to just do some. We mess around on Ableton and stuff. We weren't really getting anywhere. But one day, he brought me to Danny's studio, and me and Danny made Glory literally the next day. We made Glory in like 4 hours, which is what the first track that we released together, and we just hit it off. It was just. But I had to go through about 3 different people to meet Danny, and it was all just random encounters, and
a whirlwind in your life has never been the same again.
no, mate, yeah. No, but I mean, the song "Glory" on the record was 4 hours of me and Danny just bubbling, just like that tune was literally done in 4 hours, which is like Danny's just the way he works, man. Like if he digs something, if he digs it, and we're both digging it, then you're away. You know, if you're both digging it, then you've got nothing to worry about with Danny.
There you go. So we talk about these while people are watching this, and again, I'll say there are links in the description to your own Bandcamp, also albums on Tracksource as well. So definitely suggest people go and check it out. So let's bring it back to the live performance. What's going to be happening? You said it's been the last couple of years where you really feel it's all coming together now. Tell us about the setup. Tell us about the band members, and tell us about the ethos, if that's not a poncy word, about what you're looking to achieve when you get on that stage.
Well, I'm still in the process of so from the first record, if you heard it, to the second, I'm still in the process of trying to not blend the two sounds. Because I've got there's loads of different avenues I can go sound wise, but it's the live show now is what because I have the band, and I have, obviously the band will develop. I can add to it, when it becomes easier to take more musicians with me. But what I'm doing now is just trying to really just make the live show a thoroughly enjoyable experience. And I've got the guys with me now that I've got real pros with me now. We've got Lindsley Campbell. He played bass on the record, was introduced to me through Danny. He's amazing bassist from Birmingham. And Jackson is the keyboardist, Jackson Baird. And James Hegarty on drums. I'm the youngest in the band. And they're all pros, yeah. And they turn up on time, smash it out.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Are you big on? Probably a ridiculous question, but are you big on the audience participation, or do you just like to focus, get on with it?
Good question. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you, some people, they just like to perform. It's all about the music. They don't like to make too much of a show. If that's a silly thing to say, but there are other people. There are people who will relate to that, and then there are other people who like to say, right, yeah, this is a spectacle. Let's get the audience involved. We want people to go away sort of like flabbergasted.
Well, I think the audience being involved, if the audience are connecting with you, paying attention, if you feel like you're, or they're just shacking out, dancing wildly, grooving, or there's those intimate gigs where you've got the whole eye contact with all the audience. For me, that's audience involvement. I don't feel like I need to give me a ooh, give me an ah.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of. I'm not that. I wouldn't say that's. I've taken it to those places too much.
Are you a showman? If for anyone who hasn't seen your videos, do you like to put on a show? Do you lose yourself when you're performing, or are you a little bit more reserved?
I can be both, but definitely better when I lose myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's. I think that's the plan. As long as you know, as long as you have an anchor, like as long as you're not, away with the
Loose,
fairies.
wild and loose.
Yeah, as long as it's not wild, you can lose yourself, but you can, as long as you know the set list and your lyrics, you're pretty, and you've done a good vocal warm up, and you're in good nick. I think those are all the tools I need really,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, like, oh mate, like the band, like having the band again, because I've done a lot of gigs solo. I just play the piano and I play my songs, and they are. It's nice to have that option of being able to play solo as well. But yeah, there's nothing like just a room full of people dancing.
Indeed.
And you're there. There's nothing like that.
Well, let's talk then also about you being on the stage. Let's talk about your voice. I know it's, as I said to you when we had the conversation yesterday, this is just a chat. Like, I'd like to think two mates over a beer just chatting about whatever without asking the obvious questions. But it's difficult sometimes when you hear a vocalist not to liken them to other certain artists. And I'm sure I've not read this anywhere, but already listening to you, there's hints of Seal in your voice. Has anyone ever said that? There's hints of Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. Seal and John Legend, I get the most.
And does that lay heavy on your shoulders as a responsibility?
No, I couldn't care less.
Fair play. Fair play.
I literally couldn't care less.
But you take the compliment well.
I don't see it as a compliment. I see it as a likeness. Like, okay. I see it. I mean, it is a compliment. It's like saying, your voice reminds me of this, but I think I've had better compliments.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. To me, it's like, wow, someone thinks I sound as good as Seal, then I'm going to take that, definitely.
No, I take it, but I don't.
I'm not saying you're trying to emulate him. But
I take it. When you actually listen to Seal's voice, because he does. I can understand where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But I have people, I've had people crying and coming up to me saying like, you've really touched me, and and people, I have a lot of good compliments about my voice, and I always take them to heart. Whatever is said, it's always taken to heart. So,
without psychoanalyzing,
even the bad stuff.
Well, I was going to say without psychoanalyzing, did taking a compliment ever feel awkward, uncomfortable, or have you always been able to take it?
When you think when you've had a stinker, and people want to come up to you and say that was good, and you're like, no, that was a sack of shit.
Explain a stinker then.
Like when you've had a bad gig, like when you've had for me, it's when I've performed awful, or the sound's been crap, or I can get a bit selfish in that way, or like self-centered around that kind of thing, because I know it's like I have been like that in the past. I've been frustrated on stage because something's gone wrong. Not so much anymore, but I used to like, it used to really bother me if the sound was bad, so I couldn't enjoy it myself. And if I can't enjoy it, then I can't.
Yeah,
I lose.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
I just want to go. I just want to go straight home. I don't want to speak to anyone, anything. I'm just like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. There's a tiny delay. It doesn't matter what anyone says. They're not going to bring you out of that.
No.
You know what I mean? It's impossible.
No, because it's like this is what I live for. It's the only thing I really know how to do properly, and I've just been crap at it. Like it really does just ruin your day.
Yeah.
But so yeah, not yeah.
Well, so there's that age-old saying, "You're only as good as your last gig."
Yeah,
You
yeah,
definitely believe that.
yeah. I
All
believe
right.
that. Yeah,
Well, let's talk about the gig then, because we could quite easily chat all day, but I'm sure you want to go and get some breakfast and some coffee or whatever.
mate. I've had breakfast. I've had
Really?
breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 27th of July, it's not your first time in Birmingham. You're obviously working there quite heavily, but Hockley Social Club, I'm sure you've heard amazing things about the venue and all
I
this
don't know
stuff.
too much about it, you know.
Well, let me tell you,
Like,
it's like Birmingham's hottest new venue. It's been around a few years now.
uh,
Daytime, indoor warehouse, food,
okay,
many different food eateries there.
okay.
I mean, Andrew, if he's, he's there actually.
I can't see him. Can I see anyone? I don't even know how to use this thing.
Tell me, Andy, in the comments how I can deliver Hockley Social. I'll give it from my point of view. Being a Birmingham man myself, going back to Birmingham, having done 2 events with them over the last 2 consecutive years. Amazing food, amazing staff, beautiful setting in Hockley, as the name suggests. And the vibe is just incredible. The crowd are really clued up, proper music people, and
Mate,
they're going to be really receptive.
Mate, they're aiming for it's the last gig of the tour. It's that's it. It's like bang.
Okay.
I can't wait. It's come around really. It's come around really quickly.
We're going to set you up in the daytime on the terrace. Myself and Schoolie, Simon Schoolboy Phillips, obviously Jazz FM, and the likes in the day on the terrace alongside the Zoosians, a live act who feature amongst others the son of the legendary Phil Asher. They're going to be performing. Inside, before you come on, some of our vocal booth DJs are going to be setting the scene, ready for you to take over. I believe around about 9 o'clock. You've got the last couple of hours, or just short, whatever your set time is, where everyone's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Sufficiently vibed, ready for you to come on. And then when you're done, we go on after in Artem, myself and Schoolie, rocking till 2 o'clock in the morning with just the filthiest of sounds. So it's going to be a great day.
This is it then. You've sold it. I'm definitely coming anyway.
Well, it's me and you then. It's me and you.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be great, mate. So listen, I'm going to leave you to get on with your Saturday now. I appreciate you giving me your time. What's just happened? Oh, my camera changed. It's all right. The links for all of your works are in the description of the video, and people are going to get to hear you, witness your vibes, and it's just going to be great, mate. Well, I don't know what else I can say.
It's perfect.
Beautiful.
Nice to chat.
Wonderful. Mate, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I'll leave you to the rest of your day. And we were talking earlier about the football. We'll leave it at that. And
no. I mean, England have never beaten Switzerland in a tournament before. So I've just, hopefully by saying that, now they're going to beat them. I've just jinxed, a bit of black magic there.
Yeah, frame it. You've just given them that edge. You've changed it. You flipped it up.
Yeah, we can only hope, can't we?
Indeed. Okay, so listen, I'm going to press this button. It's going to kick you off of Zoom, so don't think I'm being rude. I'm just going to say a few goodbyes, and we'll talk. All right, my friend.
Peace.
Respect.
Ciao.
See you later. Okay, folks. What a lovely bloke. What a fantastic bloke. Let me just close all these windows on my screen. The Vocal Booth Takeover was celebrating 25 years. I started Vocal Booth one Thursday night at the Ministry of Sound Bar on Broad Street. Here we are in 2024. 15 years of events in Spain. It's going to be the 3rd time I've been involved in a takeover at Hockley Social Club. Myself and Schoolie on the terrace in the daytime with support from the Zoosians. inside Andy Comarsh, Black Wax, the Body People DJs. And then in autumn, we are bringing back Lockdown. If anybody remembers Nosy Parker's messy, legendary parties on a Sunday night down on the edge of Digbuff, we're bringing it back. Myself and Scully back to back in that beautiful little setting of autumn. Live band Jack Tyson Charles with huge Birmingham influences. And I don't really know what else I can add, apart from the fact that it is completely free all day long. You might have to find a couple of pound coins in your pocket to join us in autumn on the evening, but do get involved. Thank you to everyone that's been commenting. Julie B, how are you, my love? I look forward to catching up with you and everybody else who's commenting. Thank you for being here. I'm going to leave you to your Saturday afternoon. Thank you for your eyes and your ears. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come on, England. I almost forgot. Throughout 2024, myself and these fantastic people in the Access crew are building a freshwater well in Africa. Shout out to all these boys and girls. And there's one or two others added to this list. I've not been live since May, so forgive me for not shouting out the one or two others who have joined since that went live. And if you need any graphics or if you need a website designing, I am your man. See you later. One love.